There's a growing belief in the startup world that AI is going to make co-founders obsolete, that you can be a force multiplier all by yourself and not need another human alongside you to build. And as a psychologist who's worked with hundreds of founders over the last 6 years, I do want to take that idea seriously because I think it's half right. Solo founding with AI is absolutely going to increase, and that makes a ton of sense for reasons we can talk about. But the other half that's wrong has consequences that no one in the startup ecosystem is really talking about yet. And that's what this video is about. Hi, I'm Dr. Matthew Jones. I'm a licensed psychologist, and for the last 6 years, I've worked exclusively with startup founders and co-founders to help them improve their communication, teamwork, and decision-making. And my hope is by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why I don't think co-founders are suddenly going to evaporate and what the psychological stakes are if we get this wrong. So where I want to start is, there's a very practical case that the narrative is currently missing, which is domain expertise still matters within the context of AI output. So not only does it matter for you to upload the correct context to the agents to operate effectively, but in particular, once there is output, having a domain level expert review it to ensure that it has full context is absolutely essential to business outcomes. So let me give you an example. I'm currently working with a team, and I'll just say, hypothetically in legal tech. And part of what I've observed is because AI can be used by both the product team and the engineering team, those divisions are no longer as intense as they were in the past, meaning, engineering does not have to wait necessarily for product to get back to them for certain decisions to be made. Engineers can now kind of build and mock up and then create these features totally on their own. On the flip side, people within product who have AI capabilities and skills have the ability to also create the code and start shipping things on their own. And so there's a little bit of a more porous relationship between these two branches. And yet having that kind of cross check, but between these departments, those checks and balances can be really helpful, because if you are not a domain expert in the legal side, having that lived context for somebody who's worked in legal for, I don't know, say 20 years is exceptionally beneficial to ensure that you're not just building something in isolation that's disconnected from the reality of the end user, right? And so that's an example that's still really valuable. The other piece, the other kind of business reason is that resource pooling is still highly prevalent. So backing up for a second, Noam Wasserman wrote a book called The Founder's Dilemmas, and in that, part of what he articulates is a key reason for co-founding a company rather than just being a solo founder is the ability to pool shared resources, such as access to network, capital, hiring credibility, like all of these different factors that are absolutely essential to building. So it's going to be hard as a solo founder if you don't have previous experience in network effects to do some of these things. It's like the AI doesn't solve that outreach problem, right? And it doesn't solve the warm intro piece. And so there are tools there that you can use, absolutely. But fundamentally, if it's plug and play and somebody who has a great relationship with tier one investment firms, that's going to make sense and benefit your company to partner with them. And so that's something that is not solved, so to speak, by some of the technology. And so because of that, I think there's several of these practical reasons for continuing to co-found with humans. A flip side, is also a human case. And I'll start by saying there are 6 needs that I've identified that I call the Founder 6 that every single startup founder has. There's the need for sovereignty, creation, significance, tribe, becoming, and mission. And out of those 6, there's especially one that AI will never be able to meet. And that's the need of tribe, the need for deep belonging, that unconditional belonging with being with people who really understand what it's like to be in your shoes. That's something that AI cannot substitute. And part of what we know, for example, with a lot of different research in founder mental health is that entrepreneurial loneliness is a major contributor that exacerbates or makes worse some of the mental health conditions that many entrepreneurs are predisposed to, such as anxiety, depression, ADHD, bipolar. And therefore, that need for tribe is already going unmet for a lot of founders. And in bad co-founder relationships, this is equally challenging, to be clear, because when you and your co-founder are in this negative sentiment override and interpreting neutral or positive statements as being negative, and it is all kind of chalking up to your negative narrative about the other person, then that is detracting from your mental and emotional well-being. It's that tribe need is completely absent because you're feeling most misunderstood by the person whose opinion you really value and care about. So that's really challenging. But the flip side of this relationship is when you get it right, and there's that synergistic effect going in the positive direction, it is going to be a key moderator variable for mental health. It's going to, in other words, give you greater resilience to entrepreneurial loneliness because you're going to have this secure base, this other person who's available, responsive, and attuned to your emotional state in ways that no one else can understand. Because the truth is, no one can understand you like your co-founder, right? Like your spouse can empathize with certain aspects of what it's like to be you. So can an advisor or coach, but nobody is in the trenches with you like your co-founder. And so if you get that relationship right, and you have the healthy foundation in place, then that can really help you come together and help you feel galvanized, protected, resilient, and help you scale the two of you against the market, right? And allow you to really build something that lasts. And so I think there's this psychological driver for tribe that, lead people to co-found companies with other humans, this need for connection, this need to feel understood. And it's precisely the fact that, you're different humans that makes that mutual recognition so impactful. So AI, as an example, can give you a sense of connection. You can build a relationship with it, but it doesn't require vulnerability. And it's not different from you enough to challenge you. So let me say this in a different way. The real danger, and what nobody else is talking about in this space, is the fact that what makes tribe, this need for tribe, psychologically valuable, it's not just the connection, it's actually the otherness. It's actually the fact that they are another human with their own set of thoughts, feelings, reactions, perceptions of reality. And so when you're in relationship with another human, it challenges you. Because what actually happens is as you have conflict or disagreements, in an ideal world, not only are you helping each other feel heard and understood and deepening your understanding of the other person, you're also co-creating, co-constructing reality, a shared reality that you both agree on. So even if a situation goes wrong, let's say my co-founder Mark and I have a disagreement, he interrupts me a few times during the all hands meeting, I have a lot of feelings about it. My story is that he's an asshole, he doesn't value my opinion, et cetera, et cetera. But as we debug and realign, what I discover is, oh no, he cares quite a bit. And he also really wanted to make sure that there was a certain point that was emphasized that I wasn't emphasizing. And he felt like that was a top company priority that we previously discussed. And so his interrupting was coming from this good place. Now, good intent can still have negative impact on me, right? But as we are able to have this conversation together, now we both walk away with a fuller picture of reality where Mark can understand he had good intent and it still had a negative impact. And so maybe next time we try to make sure we're aligned prior to going into the all hands meeting, which would be meeting my need. And on the other hand, I have a better understanding of what actually occurred. It helps me make meaning and sense out of those interruptions, right? And it disrupts my internal narrative about Mark being an asshole. The problem is that AI doesn't do that. AI often colludes with our own psychological defenses. And our defenses, by the way, the entire goal of our psychological defenses are to keep reality at bay, is to really protect us and insulate us. And so our world gets very small and narrow, and AI exacerbates that. It makes it worse. So it actually not only will make you feel lonelier in time, but then it's like a superficial level of validation that says your ideas are always good or whatever the case may be. And the challenge with that is, again, it doesn't force you to confront reality. It isolates you further from it. And so we're already at a point where we're having some preliminary research come back. And it's saying that, yes, we can form real emotional attachments to AI and LLMs. And the interesting thing is, the more human-like we treat it, the more emotionally connected we can get to it. And the thing that's fascinating is, I'm sure that you've seen the movie Her. And if not, absolutely go watch it because it's increasingly relevant. But the thing is, we can form a psychological attachment to AI, but it's devoid of the same degree of interpersonal vulnerability and risk and recognition as a real human relationship. So that's part of a key difference. Whenever you go and meet with a therapist or a psychologist, as an example, there's a degree of vulnerability because that person can hurt you. emotionally. They can judge you. They can see parts of you that maybe you don't want revealed. There's an intimacy that coincides with fear of rejection, like all those attachment pieces come into play. And so that's not true with AI. There's a degree of safety and security, but the expense is that there's not that otherness, that other perspective, that other perception of reality to challenge you in the same way. And so that's why, for example, AI therapy can be helpful from a cognitive behavioral perspective. Like if we want to challenge thoughts, it can give you all the recommendations and tools and frameworks you could ever want. It can also give you new insights. If you upload your journaling, your rants, whatever the case may be, it will not replace relationship, genuine human to human relationship. And so that's always going to be a thing. And most of our problems don't magically appear out of nowhere. And in order to heal and fix relational wounds, that has to happen within the container of a real human to human relationship. And so part of what I've noticed in my work with co-founders is that some of the loneliest founders I've ever seen, they weren't the ones without a co-founder, the solo founders. They were the ones whose co-founder relationship had quietly collapsed. And the challenge is that we don't have research on, understanding the differences between co-founding teams with humans and some of those complexities. And we don't have yet full data on what it's like for co-founders to simply solo founders to just work with AI and not have traditional co-founders. Neither of those are fully studied, and that's something that I really want to create. But as of right now, the verdict's out. So I'm really curious to hear what you think. I mean, my thoughts are, team size will shrink over time. There will absolutely be an increase of solo founders who use AI as opposed to co-founding. And I think there will be a slight decrease in co-founders in general, but I never think it will go away. And in fact, I actually think some of the deeper psychological yearnings for connection will only increase as our objectification of other people also increases. And as we continue substituting our own human needs and outsourcing them to AI and to like these two-dimensional images on a screen, part of what I think is really going to become apparent is our need for offline time to connect on a human-to-human level. And that is something that AI cannot yet replace. And so I think especially for the founders who are already going through so much, have all these different pressures to manage, and your identity is tied to this thing, your finances are tied to this thing, your legacy. Having someone in the trenches with you is a deep psychological means of connection and tribe that will not go away. So if any of this is interesting, would love for you to hit subscribe, like, and I'll be back here soon. In the meantime, feel free to pick up my book, The Co-Founder Effect, which you can find on Amazon. Cheers.